in the work that you do, you tend to speak a lot about, having the us, not having the us versus them mindset, and being united. Like, what's a good example of that? In the current context, I suppose I can think of a few in terms of COVID and rallying people, but is there something that sticks out in your mind?
Something that sticks out in my mind. Well, with We the Good, which is a platform that I launched for, which was initiated during COVID, and it really is to shine a light on the. We the Good is really to shine a light on the underserved charities in Singapore, and using platform of influence to try and create impact. And to me, it really is a platform for collaboration. That's my hope. So I hope to bring in people from all walks of life with varying levels of influence and knowledge and wisdom to be able to help those who need it most. So that's one example of something that I'm trying to create, which is a collaborative platform. I think, I do think that collectively we're feeling that, I don't know. I do feel that the younger generation are much more socially engaged. Just look at the recent elections in Singapore. People do want change. Do they have the tools? Do they know what the goalposts are? The goalposts are constantly shifting, and there's so much uncertainty. So I think the most important thing really is those basic human traits that can't, if we really develop them, they can't be so dramatically affected by outside circumstances, community, kindness, mindfulness, understanding of our own emotions and how to deal with them, which is self-curiosity, education for kids, looking out for your buddies, listening into them and understanding how they're actually doing. Those are the sort of human traits that we need to work on more and more.
Yeah, I suppose, and that's a good point you brought up about, like the younger generation, or even well, I don't think just the younger generation, but as Singaporeans and even globally, like people are more galvanized towards wanting change. And I find that the us versus them mindset really stems around people being too critical about people who want change but don't have the answers. And they're like, oh, you don't have the answer. Why are you shouting foul or crying foul? And I don't know, for me, I think that's really counterproductive. And that's one of the reasons why I suppose you started like We the Good. I mean, among other things. But if, let's say we use We the Good as an example, like how do these types of conversations, do you think, can help change a mindset for those who maybe are pessimistic, critical, or maybe just they don't even know?
Yeah, it's really it's a great question, because as somebody who's trying to shift hearts and minds, right? Because you have to tell stories to shift hearts and minds. Hearts and minds, shift behaviors, consumer behavior shifts, corporate behavior, that kind of thing. And it's really sort of understanding the behavioral change science, right? And this is something that I've been thinking about for a long time. So about 10 years ago, I was thinking to myself, how do we get people to care about the environment, orangutans, elephants, climate change, when they don't care about themselves? Right? And how do we get people to care about themselves when they don't have those tools, right? And if you are not well within, stable and robust, there's no way you can even start thinking about climate change, because that's just overwhelming. And that, there's the whole thing around having eco-anxiety and all of those things, right? So to be a part of change, you need to be well yourself, right? You can't change your family, your community, or even looking at sort of global challenges unless you're ready to take that on, and you need to be well to do that, because it's stressful and it's depressing, and it really does feel hopeless at times, right? So it's moving forward, anyone who wants to influence change, I say, please dedicate at least 20% of your time to your own well-being, right? But with
Yeah.
the motivation to serve, right?
Yeah.
Impossible to do so otherwise. I mean, I hit a wall in 2018 and it was really challenging. So I really do believe that everyone really needs to invest in their well-being to be able to deal with where we're headed.